Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I am really excited for a very special interview that I have with one of my most all-time favorites. Okay, we have the New York Times best-selling author, Mr. Omar Tyree, and he is joining us for an exclusive interview. We're going to be talking about just following your goals and your dreams, emotional wellness, professional success, and he'll be talking about his forthcoming book. As you guys are coming on in, can you go ahead and just say hello this evening? If you are watching a replay, can you guys do me a favor and put hashtag replay? Um, Tonight is very special because I've had the opportunity to combine a few of my audiences. So I'm gonna make sure that I get you guys going. I see y'all. Can y'all say something in the chat so I know that you are live? Well, let me introduce our author that we have. So we have Omar Tyree. He is a New York Times best-selling author, is the winner of the 2001 NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Literary Work, Fiction, and the 2006 Phillis Wheatley Literary Award for Body of Work in Urban Fiction. He has published more than 20 books on African American people and culture, including the five, y'all. And we have some of our author community. Shout out if you are a part of the Kingdom Scribes group and Beyond the Book Media. He has 5 New York Times best-selling novels, and he is a popular national speaker and a strong advocate of urban literacy. So born and raised in Philadelphia, he lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, you can learn more about him omartyree.com. So I'm really excited. I'm going to bring him up just for us to get this conversation going. All right, let's see. Let me add you. Hold on, let's see. Where am I? There I go. There we go.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, good afternoon. I know that you are on your way. You are a busy man. I did my best to introduce you.
Uh-oh. Did it get stuck? It was live and then it got stuck. What in the world? And you got stuck and your face is just frozen.
There we go.
Okay,
We're
there you
good.
go.
You know how
There you go.
sometimes
There
there we
you
go.
go.
So what would you like to tell? Look, people are saying good evening. I know you have a lot of things going on, including you have a new book. Can you tell us just a little bit about what you have going on? Anything else you want to add, and then I'll get into my questions. And I thank you for taking time. I know you are on the go and busy, so thank you for jumping in this conversation with us.
Yeah, number one, the biggest thing I got going on is the new book, Control. It's a psychological thriller. And of course, it's dealing with mental health issues and interpersonal relationships. So, you guys talking about emotional intelligence, that's definitely it. You know what I mean? When individuals are trying to control everything, it's an emotional intelligence that they're battling with. They can feel other people's emotions, but they don't care. They're trying to get what they want accomplished. And so that can create a whole lot of conflicts with you and the other person that you try to get your goals accomplished with, because you want your goals and they want their goals. So whenever you're around people that want control, it's always going to be a lot of clashing going on. But that's America right now. Everybody wants control of their own thing. And so you got a whole lot of clashing that's going on right now. People trying to come together to figure out how can we negotiate this business and move forward. If we both want what we want and we can't get all of what we want, can we compromise and get percentages of it? And what percentage am I going to be satisfied with? So that's the new book, Control. It's brand new at the bookstores. And I'm giving a Zoom call, podcast, IG Live, or Instagram, Facebook Live, or whatever it is, to anybody that reads the book clubs. If you read the book, it's an excellent book. The ending is great, but I can't talk about that stuff until you read it. So I'm doing all that. But I'm on tour right now, back up in Raleigh. But I'm about to do the deep South with Louisiana and Essence, and then Houston and Dallas, and then I'm gonna wrap up in Oklahoma. And then last is the West Coast. You can go to my website at hotlavaentertainment.com, all spelled correctly, hotlavaentertainment.com. and look at everything I've got going on right now, including the tour, which I just finished, but I got a new part of the tour coming in another week when I go to Essence. So that's what's going on with me right now.
Okay, well, I love that. I love that you're talking about mental health in your book, in your psychological thriller, because I feel like we are now just comfortable with really talking about mental health and the overall effects of it in media. I feel like back in the day they just used to label everybody as crazy and not necessarily discussing like that this is actual a health condition, or you would hear like, oh, such and such, they just a little off. But I
Yeah.
love that you are highlighting that. I do have a question, because I know as an author, you have to do research. Like, what kind of research, or like what kind of experience did you draw from to be able to kind of tap into that to share that story?
Well, you got to pay attention to everything. Number one thing, when you're talking about a person who's a novelist, we already know a whole lot of information about humans. So it's not like you're starting from zero. And then I'm an older dude now. I'm not the dude that wrote Fly Girl at 19. I'm 55 years old now. So I've been around a lot of people, including myself, when you start talking about mental struggles and, how you respond to the things that are going on around you, because you can't control everything. And so the older you get, the more you understand, I can't control this, I can't control that, I can't control her, I can't control him, I can't control them, I can't control this situation. So you have to manage it more, because you're around more situations where you have to manage yourself. And so I don't have to do a lot of research. Of course, with the psychologist that I had in the book, if you watched enough movies and been around enough folks, you've been around enough to know what they do, how they react to stuff, and the whole nine. So I didn't have to do a lot of research with this. I just had to create characters that had, control issues. And then all the elements are going to come out that we naturally would claim as mental health issues. So I didn't have to do a lot of research. I just know at this point, when you're 55 years old and you've been around X amount of people, you know when people are off, you know when people are having struggles, and you know when you're off and when you're having struggles. And so it was just putting the right people in the book.
Okay, that's really good. So I love how you talked about just being different from, you're not the, I didn't know you were 19 when you wrote the book Fly Girl.
Yeah,
I made a joke about
19 to 20. Yep.
yeah, I made a joke that when me and my friends had that book, I don't know who approved it, but we were reading all of some of these books, and we was not old enough, thinking we was grown. But I love how you talked about that. And so what I love about your writing and how you give your characters, you really tap into the mindset of your character as far as like the women that are in your books. And so from my understanding, I feel like you got a pretty good handle on just understanding emotional intelligence in women and whatnot. And so if I were to ask you something like, you said that you just know, how did you have the confidence to trust like what you know and to put it in a book? Like, how did you not feel like somebody was gonna come and be like, oh, that's not true, or it's not like that? I feel like there are some people that don't go with the story that's on the inside of them or what they know, and they stray away from that. So I guess, how
Right.
did you get that confidence?
Well, number one, I'm an Aries. So when you're dealing with Aries people, some people that's not in the zodiac, we are the most confident people in the zodiac. So I'm not going to be sitting there, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't do that. I say what I say, I do what I do. And then I was raised around a lot of hardcore men in Philadelphia, and nobody was wishy-washy. I wasn't raised around that kind of men. My father, my stepfather, all the men that I was around, uncles, cousins, football coaches, and then I won on a lot of football teams, so I was used to winning. So I'm just not around people that haven't been confident. So that's just not part of my atmosphere. I've always been confident, even when I was a kid. So I don't know how to answer that. In fact, it's saying I've always been confident. So I'm never going to be shy or bashful about what I have to say or what I think about. You know what I mean? So yeah, especially at 55, I'm not going to stop. You know what I mean? So you can get into a lot of trouble with that, because other people expect you to be shy and bashful and lack confidence, and they tell you to be humble. And I'm like, yo, dude, it's a little too late for me to be humble about some of the things I do. Now, the things you're not good at, of course, you're going to be humble with the things you're not good at. But when we talk about telling stories and understanding humans, I think I got that pretty good. So I'm not going to be lacking of confidence in that.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think I can round that out. I know you said it was kind of hard, but really knowing what you know, and standing on business. Like I think that's really what it's all about. And one of the things that I'm an advocate of, Mr. Omar Tyree, is for women standing in who they are and being confident and being bold and walking in authority, right? And I know that you have done just that with the legacy that you have created with books and the longevity that you have, right? And I
hmm
think that is to me, that's one of the most impactful things about who you are as an author. Can you talk about having longevity in your purpose, in your vision? I feel like that's where some of us lack.
right. Well, again, you're talking about knowing what you do. When you're consistent and you do it all the time, then there's no doubt in what you're doing. Like I play football, so I throw the football a lot. I've been throwing the football since what, like 5 years old, and then I throw it for accuracy. I throw it for precision. I throw it to have a tight spiral, and I've been doing it over and 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 over. So the more you do it, it's like, dude, like cutting hair. When you go to the barber shop, these guys been cutting hair for 20 years. They're not going to stop learning how to, so certain things you just know because you've been doing it all the time. So consistency, okay, gives you that. But if you're not consistent and you're random and sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't, well, you always going to be in that state of not knowing if you're clear or not on it. But consistent people that do the same thing all the time. And if you read about successful people, that's what it says. Successful people do the same things over and over again. And so they know what they're doing. They become masters at it. But if you're going to be random and not doing the same thing and not consistent, then you end up with that issue. But I'm not a random person. I'm a very consistent person. I consistently know what I want to do. And so I'm consistently doing it and consistently good at it. And unless you bump your head and forget your skills or something, it's not going away. Like right now, I came up in Philadelphia. We boxed all the time in Philadelphia, street boxing, slap boxing, everything. So right now, my arms, my boxing skills is locked in. I can't get away from it. It's like if you throw a punch at me, I'm gonna slip, duck, dodge, and I'm coming right at. That's what we learned in Philadelphia since we were boys. So now I'm 55 years old. My body naturally moves for boxing. So don't ever swing a punch at me if you don't want to get knocked. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that it's in me. At
Yeah.
55, I can't get it out of me. You know what I mean? So yeah, when you lack confidence, you ain't doing it enough. You don't understand how to do it. But when you do it all the time, there's nothing else to be shy and bashful and unsure about it. That's the consistency that all professionals want to have. Now, sometimes when it's a physical thing, you can lose your speed, you can lose some of the power. But when it's a mental thing, and what I'm doing with writing books and speaking, that's a mental thing. Now, until you get dementia and all that kind of stuff and your mental skills start falling. But typically, when we start talking about, 40, 50, 60, 70, that's when our mental skills really take hold because we know all the things we know and been through already. So at age 55, I'm like in mental mastery right now. The
Mhm.
physical went down some, you know what I mean? But the mental, I'm there now. So yeah, it's about consistency.
Okay, someone put in the comments, I'm not random, I'm consistent. And
Yeah,
I love that you talked about consistency because you've had consistent success.
yeah.
And okay, I know I have some authors that are watching us or maybe watching a replay and they're struggling with consistency, with consistently putting out content, writing books. Do you have like any advice for someone who may be struggling with consistency? Like, did you're gonna be like, I ain't never struggled with consistency. But I feel
Right,
like somebody may have.
right.
How would you what would you say to motivate that person who's struggling with being consistent?
Well, you got to learn how to be disciplined. When it's time to sit down and do your work, it's time to sit down and do your work. So I can always put myself on creative punishment where I'm not going out right now. I'm not going to the movies. I'm not going to get a drink. I'm not watching TV. I got a chapter to finish. I'm going to finish this chapter. So you have to have self-discipline And I always had that. When it's time to go to football practice, I'm going to practice. I need 30 minutes to walk there, practice at 5 o'clock. I'm going to start walking at 4:20 or 4, you know what I mean, to get there on time. So I've always been one that's doing the things he's supposed to do, being where I'm supposed to be. If you want them people that's slacking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you always going to fall off when it's time to do something. So again, you have to be ready to complete what you start and get the hours done or how much time you need to finish what you need to finish and know that. And then once you get used to finishing, then you can do it all the time. But if you lollygagging and you don't finish that first project, it's going to be hard to finish the second, hard to finish the third, hard to finish the fourth. So as long as you understand how to discipline yourself and finish, and I always tell people, do not start with these big projects. Start with a small short story. Start with a poem. Start with an essay, something that you can finish in 3 pages. So you get used to finishing. Because see, I can write novels 500 pages because I'm used to doing that. If you're not used to doing that, please don't pick up a pen thinking you're going to write 300 pages in your first setting. Write 30 pages and finish it, a short story. Then write 60 and finish it, a bigger story. Then write 100 pages and finish it, a bigger story. Then you can go on to 300 and whatnot. So they got to learn how to finish, again, with consistency and discipline. And it's nothing, I can't teach you that. You have to discipline yourself to do that.
I love this because you just said some good words. You said get used to finishing.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I think you just really helped somebody who is
Yeah.
really struggling.
Yeah. Well, you got to
Because
understand, I'm also a journalist, a newspaper writer. And think about this. If you work for a daily newspaper and you say, what's the deadline? He going to say right now, the paper's coming out tomorrow morning. So you always on deadline to finish. So again, I already have skills, even as a professional journalist, that a lot of people don't have. I need to finish this article, so I'm going to be more anal about it. I'm going to be more urgent about it. I'm going to be more pressed about finishing. If you're not, where you're like, oh, I can finish it next week, next month. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to finish it or not. You're not in that same realm of urgency that I'm in. So that was another thing that helped me out.
okay, so I hope y'all are catching these nuggets, okay? Because you don't just accidentally become a New York Times bestseller, okay? I read his bio. You don't accidentally have what you just said, like 30 plus years of longevity in the game. He
Yeah.
said something, you said something that a lot of us need to go do right now. You said you put yourself on creative punishment. My God,
Yeah. Yeah.
that right there will preach, okay?
Turn the TV off, put the cell phone down, tell your girlfriend you talk to her in the next 2 days or so, you got work to do. And if you can't do that, you can't be an artist on this level. It ain't gonna happen.
Man. Do you have scheduled creative punishment times, or are creative punishments like on deadline? Like, come on, let us know what you do, because I think I need to put myself on creative
No,
punishment.
it ain't got to be on deadline. You just want to be on a schedule. So if I know I want to finish 3 chapters this week and I'm behind, okay, now I got to put myself on punishment. If I'm not behind, okay, I can go outside and play and come back in with it. So you got to understand what your schedule is, right? So you say, all right, I want to finish this book in 3 months. How many chapters is it? And that's another thing. People don't know how to outline. You don't have to outline every chapter, but you at least have to know where you're going and what your ending is, so you know how much you have to write to get there. If you don't know that, you don't know the last chapter, you don't know the ending, you know how many chapters you're going to write, I can't help you, dude. Like, what you doing? You're going to be running around in circles. You got to know where you're going. You know, so it's so much that I can learn. But if you go to my website, hotlavaentertainment.com, I do have a consultation where you can email me, and I do have clients to teach them the whole tricks of the trade and how to get things done over and over again. And I have contacts to editors and graphic designers and all the different people that you need to put a book together. And I have agents that can shop your book, but I'm not shopping nobody's book until you can finish, because I got in trouble with that, where people that couldn't finish were with agents, and they now driving the agents crazy, and the agents are only there to shop completed material. If you can't complete your material, do not even think about agents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So y'all need to go to Hot Lava. I'm about to put it, just it's hot like lava, hot like HOT lava
that's it.
entertainment.com.
Yeah, I'm that
All
Aries fire, baby. I'm gonna blow up the volcano and burn it down, and then cool off with the ashes, and then do it again. I got a poem on that too. In fact, Tracy Ellison and For the Love of Money had that volcano poem. But it's the same thing. When you're an artist, you explode, then you cool out. Then you explode, then you cool out. Then you explode, then you cool out. If you don't know how to do that, you can't be in this game. You got to learn how to explode. Is what it is.
Oh man. So basically we're not being passive in this industry as writers, as creators, as entertainers. We gotta pop out. Okay. I got another one. What do you do? Or what would you tell somebody? Maybe not what would you do, because you got this thing on lock. What would you tell someone that is feeling discouraged and they trying to put themselves on creative punishment, but maybe they're just not feeling like they're getting the traction they need with their books or with their writing? How would you tell someone to keep themselves motivated?
You got to read somebody's writing that you like, and you got to copy it. We all do that. You got to learn how to copy. So if you like Walter Mosley or Toni Morrison, read their work and learn how to copy their style in small doses and then make your story into their style. I've been doing that for years. So when Terry McMillan had a certain flow with her dialogue, I said, I like how her dialogue just pop, 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 pop. I'm going to do mine like that. You know, when Walter Mosley had extra description with his characters, I said, I like how he describes his character. I'm going to do mine like that. When Iceberg Slim had these crazy street sayings and stuff when the men and the women, I said, man, I know people like that to talk like that. Let me make my characters talk like that. So when you're discouraged, you got to learn how to bite. That's what New Yorkers, you say, stop biting my style. I'm giving you permission to bite. So if you like Omar Tyree's style, read my work and study how to bite what I'm doing. And then you can get out. Then you pass that on to your friends and get them to say, oh, I like this, your new style of writing. You got to be able to do it well. And then you can get your spirits up. But yeah, it ain't all about you. Learn how to write from reading other writers. That's why all writers read other writers. I'm a fan of other writers because I pick up stuff from them that I like and then I steal it. That's what we all do.
That's okay. So what I got from you is basically go be inspired. Go be inspired by what other people are doing. And you know what? That gives you a reason to buy somebody else's books, support somebody else that's doing something similar to you, get training, go get sit up under somebody who's doing something that you like so that you can draw inspiration instead of being in like a bubble thinking you got to figure it out on your own, right? That's what
you have to be. You got to be a fan of the work. You can't just be by yourself. I love a lot of people's work. So I get pumped up like, oh man, I can't wait to write mine. So I'm always pumped up. But if you thinking you all by yourself, nobody's writing, you're not good, you know what I mean? Like, then you're by yourself, you're going to feel like a hermit. And when you feel like a hermit, you're all by yourself. You're like, please, somebody help me. Somebody be friends with me. Somebody. That I don't get that because I'm always a fan of other people. I'm going to a poetry event right now where I'm going to listen to other people deliver. I'm going to listen to other people perform. I'm going to listen to what other people say. And then I'm going to be like, yo, that was cool. I'm going to give handshakes. I'm going to take pictures. You got to be able to do that. So my spirits are never down with the creativity because I'm always around other creative people that inspire me.
That is good. I am, and I know you are about to speak, so I'm not going to hold you long. Thank you for just agreeing to do this session. I dropped a link in the chat for Amazon for them to get your newest book, Control.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have a mixed audience. We have authors, we have women, but I feel like I know for a fact everybody on here has a purpose and they want to be a master. They want to be at the top of their game. And when we think of Black fiction novelists, you are at the top of your game. And that's where we all strive to be. And so I believe tonight you just gave us some amazing nuggets that are practical, right? I'm just going to run them back real quick. You talked about getting used to finishing. Stop trying to have these big projects. Start small and then grow. You also talked about the big one, being consistent. Consistently standing on business, right? Knowing what you know, being confident that you know what you know. You also talked about, what was the other one? Oh, being inspired. And those things, I think sometimes, Omar Tyree, we're looking for the secret, the 5 steps, and literally we have everything we need on the inside of us, and the stuff we know, we just got to be reminded of. So before I let you go, really quickly, Any last words you'd like to leave just with our community? It's been an honor to speak with you before
Well,
we wrap up.
well, I can't be Omar Tyree without the support. So that new book right now, I'm telling everybody, it's a hammer. That
Okay.
control book is a hammer. Because when we start talking about people like Kanye West, got control issues. Jay-Z has control issues, but he stays away from us, so we don't see that.
Mm.
But if you read about how he acts with Beyonce, just even looking at somebody, hey, what you doing? What you doing? But Jay-Z stays out the public eye, right? But Dame Dash, we knew Dame Dash had control issues. Russell Wilson or Simmons. Russell
Simmons, yeah.
Simmons from Def Jam, he just left the whole place. I'm getting out of here. So Donald Trump right now, he's trying to control the whole planet with this whole let's take America back to the dude, we ain't going back there. And so he's trying to control, he ain't the president, he's trying to get back. We got so many people that have control issues right in front of us, right? Nicki Minaj, when she lost the number one mantle of the hip hop for girls, she was ready to beef with everybody. Same thing that Little Kim did when Nicki Minaj took the mantle. Now Cardi B came out, Nicki Minaj was mad. Then Nick and the Stallion came out. So everybody has control issues to some degree, trying to figure out how they can control their best life. And yeah, that book right now, that's what's on point, right? Control it, and it got a hell of an ending that I can't wait to talk about only for the readers. Because if you ain't read it yet, I can't talk about it too much because it got a whole lot of plot twists and turns and stuff that's going to make you want to call me and talk to me. But we can't do it until you read that book. So I'm telling all the people that got book clubs and all that, please read the book, choose the book, and then we're going to talk about it on Zoom, podcast, interview, and all that. And we can get to all the depths of real control issues in this world. Tyler Perry is another control animal. Think about all his interviews and all the shows he got and all the control he has with that Tyler Perry studio, performing, starring, produced by,
Yeah.
sport by, financed by Tyler Perry. He got his name on a movie 18 times was the time, right? So that is control out of this world. All you got to do is listen to his interviews, and he's telling you how much control he must have in everything he does. So yeah, we are in the era of control. Now we got kids controlling their cell phones because they got 2 million followers. Yeah, I sold 3 million books, but I only got 10,000 rather. I ain't even got 10,000. Please follow me on Instagram. Only one Omar Tyree, the number one. Please follow me. I don't control that. I don't control this new era. So I wanted to write a book about that. So pick up the book. That's my last words.
All right. I'm about to post. I'm definitely going to post your Instagram. I just followed you probably like last week. So we're
Oh,
going to
thank
make
you.
sure that we follow you on Instagram. All right. Well, I promise that you will be off by 8:30. Thank you so much for all these nuggets. And we all going to get the book. We're
Oh,
going to get the
thank
book.
you.
And once we get the book, we're going to talk about it. Is that okay? Is that cool? We're going to sit there. We're going to talk about the book.
If y'all get the book, then y'all give me another talk when I can come. But you got to read it. If you don't read it, you're going to end up hearing stuff that's going to mess up your read. Because I'm telling you, it's that kind of book where Omar don't tell me nothing about it till I finish it. Because if we talk about it and you ain't finished it, you're going to be mad. That's the kind of book it is. Because that's how many plot twists and changes it got in it.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Much blessings on your next set that you headed off to, and you have
Yep.
a great afternoon. Bye,
Yep. Thank
everyone.
you, guys. Yep.